Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce, and today we're doing another Women of Horror Spotlight. Today I have with us, she's an author. She has a new book that's coming out in July, and it's called The Candlelight Lounge. I have with us Camilla Huffman. Camilla, welcome to the Horror Room.
Hi, thanks for having me.
It's a pleasure. Now, tell us a little bit about The Candlelight Lounge.
So, the Candlelight Lounge is a gentleman's club, and it has a nasty little secret in one of its back rooms because not all patrons that enter the Candlelight Lounge get to leave.
So, all right, so a gentleman's club. So, tell us your inspiration for The Candlelight Lounge.
I have a wide variety of friends and may have visited a few gentlemen's clubs myself, and it always seems like there was just something scary going on in the back rooms.
Oh,
So
there
I
is.
took that as my inspiration and I just ran with it. So it is extremely graphic. I would not suggest anyone with a weak stomach read this book. It is on the more extreme side of horror. But I used it also as a platform because most of the people that work there, it's considered the sex industry, and they're looked down upon as if they are less than. And that's just didn't set well with me.
So I mean, listen. I've never been a fan. I haven't been to a gentleman's club in years. But at one time in my teenage and my 20 years, I used to frequent gentlemen's club, as most guys and ladies do. And yes, there is a creepy aura when at a gentleman's club. I mean, it's definitely a weird aspect going on. And I
It can
mean,
even
and
be unsettling.
it is. I mean, this is coming from me as a man. But this is why I've never been a fan of strip clubs. But it's definitely unsettling. So I mean, and it's a perfect scenario because I mean, if somebody wanted to kill a whole bunch of men, I mean, is a gentleman's club not the place?
Absolutely. Because, I mean, some of the people that come into this type of place, I would imagine my friends describe them as kind of desperate loners, people who may not have any family or friends that are still living within their circle. Maybe they're from out of town and they just want something to do. And people disappear on a very regular basis in our real lives and in reality. So I would imagine that if something nefarious was going to go down, it would probably go down in a soundproof dungeon underneath or in one of the back rooms of one of these clubs.
A majority of men, yes, you have the quiet and the loners ones, but you have a lot of married men who go to gentlemen's clubs,
Yes.
and
Yes, you
and
do.
they keep it a secret because they do not want their wives or significant other to find out. So they don't use their debit cards or credit cards. They keep it as they hide it. They're coming in with cash.
Hmm.
And think about it.
It seems dirty.
Yes, but if he was to disappear, no one knows where to land. He's not going to tell anybody, "Hey, I'm going to a strip club to get some lap dances and some other stuff." There's going
Hmm.
to be no record of a credit card or a debit card used because he's getting cash. They're going to see that he probably took out or withdrew a lump sum of cash somewhere because no one is going to use the strip club ATM because they have that high fee on it. But like,
Hmm.
yeah, I mean, it's that's a great story, Camilla.
So I follow my main character, who is, I asked my best friend, I said, Leisha, what are all of like your flaws? Tell me everything that you hate about yourself, and then I'm going to take that and I'm going to magnify it by like 1,000, and I'm going to make you my villain. So we follow Sasha. That's her dancer name. And she is basically her boss's BDSM dominatrix, and they are performing films where two people walk in, one person walks out. And boss man is what she knows her boss as, and he's the one that procures all the clientele and sells all of these videos on the dark web. So she's kind of a slave to him. He says, "Well, I have you on camera, so if you decide to go to the police, well, I didn't kill anyone, you did."
Wow. Now, was it hard for you to write this story? I mean, because you said you're
It
going
was.
extreme.
There, I've worked in bars before, and just some of the ways that I've been treated at a bar, and it doesn't matter what you look like, strip clubs and whatnot, they don't see any of your stereotypes. They just see a half naked pretty woman. And even working at a bar, you're encouraged to flirt with your patrons, to engage them in conversation. That way they want to return. And some of these people are just absolute mind blowing, the kind of things that they will say. And I'm like, hmm, let's magnify this. Let's
Mm-hmm.
see how dark we can get this.
If women only knew, like, maybe I'm giving away a man code, but if women actually knew the mindset when you meet a man at a bar, club, or anywhere, what his mindset is. Number one, first rule: no man is honest at a that you meet in a bar or club. Not one fucking thing. Guilty. Um, uh, not one thing. Not one thing he's saying. By the way, I used to have a fake English accent. I used to tell women that I was from England. By the way, and please don't ask me to do it. I haven't done it in decades. But
Is this one of those like if you show me your accent, I'll show you mine?
sure, okay, all
Okay.
right. Here's mine. And don't make me laugh. Okay. Hello, mate. How are you? I'm Travis. Sounds horrible, right?
Okay.
This is
I My family is from West Virginia, so
okay.
I introduce myself. My gamer tag is Fox, so a lot of people call me Fox or Foxy or whatever. So I'd say, "Hey, darling, I'm Fox. How's your night going?" And that would be my little intro because you don't want to give all of these people your real name. Not
No, you
there,
do not.
especially if
No.
you're working local and you're behind a bar and then this out of towner comes in. He could be anywhere, he could be anybody, and that's the beauty of being an author is your characters could be anyone. They could be the
Yeah.
lawyer that is doing something crooked. They could be the cop that's taking bribes because he needs to pay for medical treatments for his wife. Breaking Bad was actually really heavily inspired by true events that happened because
Mhm.
everybody knows somebody that has problems paying for medical bills.
They really do. And yes. So I mean, so all right. So working as a bar as a woman, and also being a author as well. Do you just sit back and watch? I mean, because I'm a huge people watcher, and I can
I
imagine
do.
like sitting on it. I used to bartend way back in the day, and I used to love watching the game that's happening at the bar.
Hmm. I people watch a lot. I also, whenever I am dealing with a customer, I also want to make sure that we don't overserve because that's also a big problem, and that's something that I do touch on in the Candlelight Lounges. The Candlelight Lounge doesn't care because all they care about at a strip club is what money. So they'll serve these people as many drinks as they want, and whenever they get too sloshed, you have their driver's license because you had to get in there somehow, and you have to prove you're 21. So they scan your license and they do a little background check, and well, sometimes Sasha gets to have a little extra fun.
Ooh. Now, do you think that there's a strip club somewhere in this country or world that this is possibly happening?
Probably yes. I know girls all over the United States. I am part of a splatterpunk horror literature Facebook group, and some of these girls, whenever I put out for beta readers, they reached out to me and they're like, "Look, I've been a dancer for God knows how many years. Do you want some inspiration?" And I'm like, "Heck yeah, I do. Send me all of your dirty little stories, and I will spin them to where nobody will ever know it's you." And some of the stuff that I was sent was hilarious, and a couple scenes made it into the book. One of the scenes was absolutely heartbreaking. There was a girl that was a heroin addict, and she used to be a med student, and then she dropped out of medical school because she was dancing her way through med school, and she got hooked on heroin. And her name is Callie. That is my main character's best friend, and that is based off of a real person. Her name is not Callie, of course. I have changed all names and likenesses to anyone that has messaged me with their stories. But I've seen and heard it all. Working in bars and having friends that have been in the industry for a while, nothing surprises me anymore.
And do you feel like if you get into the sex work, I mean, that's stripper, that's porn, that's OnlyFans, you're getting into the sex trade.
Yep,
Don't you do you feel like it starts eating away at who you truly are the longer you're doing it?
you definitely get jaded. Um, because walking past a guy to just go to the locker room or the break room or anything, like these women are telling me, yeah, this guy just grabbed a handful of my ass. He didn't even ask my name. He didn't talk to me. He was drunk and he felt entitled. So I was walking past and he just grabbed a nice big old handful of it. No money, no tip, no nothing. And they usually will, call the girl something derogatory, and they talk to these women like absolute trash. And I'm just like, this is ridiculous. This needs to be talked about. So
Yes.
I turned it into a book, and I put it on the extreme end because shock value will drive a point home like nothing else.
And one of the things that you brought up about your book too, which a lot of people do not know about the strip club industry, is that most girls they have, let's see, like, and then when you go to a hair salon or you work in a barbershop, you rent a booth. So a
Mm-hmm.
stripper has to rent her booth, which is the
Yes,
stage.
she
She
does.
has a fee that she has to pay the strip club owner in order to partake on the stage. And
Mm-hmm.
she has a fee if a guy buys her a drink, she got to pay a portion to the strip club. If lap dance, the strip club owner takes majority of the lap dance fee.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and a lot of strippers do not. There's a lot of I hear women say, "Oh my goodness, I need more money. I should get on the pole." A lot of strippers do not make. There's a false statement that strippers are making a lot of money. The average stripper does not. She does not even walk away. She might break even from what her initial booth rental or stage rental fee is.
Yeah, these girls on TikTok that are, it's hashtag stripper talk, and I hate it because they're showing that they make thousands and thousands and thousands of dollars. And I'm just like, how often can you replicate that? You can't. I know enough girls that are in this industry. I have worked in this industry. I have been in clubs and bars, and none of the girls make that. I mean, $1,000 night is like people are like raising their hands, thanking God. That only comes around maybe once a year, maybe twice. It depends on where you're working. But everybody thinks, oh, let's go to Vegas. They've got a 6-story strip club. Like all those girls, they got to be rolling in money. Sweetie, how much it costs to work there? I know a girl that dances in Vegas. It is a ridiculous amount of money, and it varies from club to club to club. Some girls will tell me, oh, it depends on what time I get there. Some girls will tell me
Yep.
it depends on how many hours I work. Some girls will tell me, well, they don't like me, so they make me pay a lot of money. Or I'm new and they make me pay a lot of money. And I've heard of house fees and tip out because you have a DJ and you have bouncers, and you have to trust these bouncers to get you to your car,
Mm-hmm.
which is another thing that I capitalized on in my novel. Was these bouncers are not always trustworthy. You have
No.
no idea who you're being walked to your vehicle by. Yeah, they're carrying your bags, they're being nice to you, but do you have cameras in your parking lot? So
Mm-hmm.
I capitalize on this, and one of the bouncers shows that his loyalty is not to the girls, his loyalty is to Boss Man. And I have Boss Man as this basically a kingpin, and he's running this underground snuff ring where everybody does exactly what he says because he's got you on camera.
Yep.
He's not on camera. He's clean.
Yes. And to be honest, he's hiring you as an independent contract. You're not even an employee. You're an
Mm-hmm.
independent. See, you get a 1099, so you're not even an employee. So, but yeah,
You're not even a
I don't.
person.
You're not even a person. Like you're. I don't know where this misconception came from that strippers make a whole bunch of money. Oh, I'm going to go to Miami or Atlanta or like you said, Vegas, and I'm going to make thousands of dollars. The average stripper does not even break even at the end of the night.
Right. And I know a lot of them.
Yeah.
um, a lot of a lot of the girls, they will say like a $300 to $500 night is pretty average on weekends. Depends on the time of year. They say that like summertime, everybody's traveling. People, all the girls are thinking, "Oh yay, summertime! Let's go, let's go, let's party." Everybody's on vacation. All their kids are home from school. The average wealthy American is taking summer vacations and going to their beach house, not
Mhm.
staying around because I mean, who wants to sit around and quote watch their kids all day? That's not
Mhm.
popular anymore.
Yep.
You know, I mean, I do a lot of stuff with. I have three little boys, and my husband and I do a lot of stuff with my kids in the summer. But that's not normal. That's not
No.
typical. Everybody sends their kids to daycares and camps, and I've been very fortunate that I haven't had to put my kids in daycare or camp. But at the same time, some parents just do it because they don't want to deal with their kids.
Yes. I 100% agree. I 100% agree. Now, what got you? Okay, so I'm gonna jump to something else real quick. But you were saying about strip clubs on Fridays and Saturday nights, but you have to work your way to that. Like most strippers start off, working a Wednesday day shift, and like you kind of
Depends
got to
on your
work your.
experience. Like
Yes.
your level of they say in the industry that you can only have one of the three messed up. You can have a really good mouthpiece is what they call it. So you can talk a really good game, you can manipulate people, and if you get them drunk enough, then guys, whenever they get drunk, of course, here goes their wallet. It opens up like
Yep.
a book. We
Mm-hmm.
call it, the book because it has everything in it. Or you can be like super athletic and really good dancer. Like you can go and do all kinds of crazy stuff on stage, and people will throw lots and lots of money. And I don't know if you've ever danced on a pole, but that shit is hard. And
Yes,
three,
it's hard.
you have to be pretty. You can only have
Yes,
one of the three messed up. You can't have two because otherwise you're gonna go home broke.
I agree. I agree. I 100% agree. And I say, because stripping is sales. I'm a sales marketing guy. It is 100% sales. I say the best sales people out there are strippers because you have to be in sales. What you got to do is you got to
Well, you sell a thing. These girls sell
manipulate
absolutely nothing. They sell an
nothing,
experience.
an
They sell a
experience. And
fantasy.
yes, and then most the misconception too is that most men go to strip clubs for tits and ass. Yes, that's a percentage. That's a small percentage. The average man goes to a strip club because strippers make him feel like a king for a short period of time. Something that he doesn't get from work, something that he doesn't get from
Hmm.
home, something that is the strip club experience from a man is not, for the most part, it's not about titties and ass. It's about women treating him like he's a king, and
And
that's
he has a
what's
bunch to choose from. So it's a
yes,
place where no woman is going to reject him. No woman is
yes,
going to tell him, "I don't like the way that you're talking to me. I don't like the way that you look." Because their misconception is that all these women want my money, so they're going to be as nice to me as possible. And who's going to be the nicest? That's who gets my money. And
yes.
in my book, I capitalize on that very early. In my very first chapter, it's this guy, and he is just groping my main character and just being extremely disrespectful, trying to get away with whatever he can. And then she smiles at him and she's like, "I have a special place for you." I have a special place for you. And then she okays it with Boss Man, and Boss Man's like, "Green light." So, of course, they drag him off to the back rooms, and she very messily disposes of him.
Wow. So what happens? All right. So I don't want you to give away anything. So kill wise, I'm pretty sure there's going to be some dicks chopped
Oh,
off.
definitely.
Okay.
Not chopped off. I didn't Lorena
All
Bobbitt
right.
anybody.
Okay.
Um, what happens is that Callie wants to be like Sasha because that is her idol. That's her mentor. That's the girl that really helped her whenever she got into the business. And Callie kind of helps on the videos, but she's never actually procured any clients. So she wants to impress Boss Man and Sasha, and she finds a table with the guy, and she's like, "Yeah, you'll do." So she drags him into the back room and makes a little movie of her own, but she messes up because Jim Davis has a Mrs. Davis and he has little Davidlings. So that, and he's also somebody that has been sent to investigate the club. So now you got a dead cop with a pissed off wife, and boss man has to figure out a way to cover it up. And that's where things get really messy because now everybody's looking for Jim Davis, and suddenly this undercover cop just goes poof. Oops.
Wow. Okay, this is a fascinating story. So, all right. So, Camilla, what got you into horror writing?
I've always loved being able to read something scary because whenever I was growing up, my mom told me, she said, you can read anything you want. I love to read from a young age. Like I was actually angry in kindergarten because my mom said I came home bad. She said, "What's wrong?" I said, "They gave me a baby book." Because my mom taught me how to read whenever I was very, very, very young. I always had a fascination with storybooks, and I wanted to watch like Gremlins, and that I'm showing my age here. I remember when
Right.
Gremlins came out, and I was watching like Scream, and I remember when Silent Hill came out. I'm also an avid video game fan, but
Me too.
oh, my hair was tickling me. But I got into it because it's something where you can be completely and totally just gory and free and write with net without abandon. So anything can happen in a horror book. It's perfectly normal. Somebody gets killed. Oh yeah, all right, yep. Somebody got killed. Why? Why did they get killed? I want my readers to take away from this book. Maybe you treat your staff or your waiters or your waitresses or dancers or bartenders, treat them like they're humans. That is the entire point of this novel, is they're people like everybody else. They have children, they have mothers, they have husbands, wives for the bartenders and the DJs. And I mean, it costs $0 to be nice, but if you're mean, well, Sasha's probably going to give you the best orgasm of your life and then slit your throat. Because
All
that
right.
is her trademark.
And I totally agree with you when it comes to that. Now, I have a question because I've never been to a strip club where men strip. Is it the same way? Like, do women treat them like a
I've
piece
never
of
been either.
meat? Okay, well, I can ask you
I've
this fucking
never
question.
been.
Okay.
I would love to answer that question, but I live in
Yeah.
Louisiana and they shut down the only male strip club that we had in New Orleans. And I never went. I never had, I mean, it's not just because I'm married, but I had never wanted to see a male stripper. I much preferred seeing females because the female form is beautiful and they're very
Hmm.
graceful, they're elegant, they're artistic. I mean, so you have the ones that get up there and just, shake ass and twerk. But then you
Yeah.
have the girls that they enjoy it. Dancing is something that they like. Stage is fun for
Hmm.
them. Talking and sitting down next to someone that's drunker than Cooter Brown, have you ever tried to have a sober conversation with a drunk person? It's
Yes, it's
terrible.
horrible. It's absolutely
It's
horrible.
absolutely horrible. It is the worst experience I've ever had. Because you're like, oh, well, how was your day? And they're like, yeah, I want another whiskey.
Yeah.
And you're like, okay, all right, I'll get you another. Are you sure you need another whiskey? Are you sure? Yeah, let's do a shot. Calm down, sir. Calm down.
Because I wonder because a lot of women say that they prefer watching women strip, like you said, than watching men strip because they say that it's disgusting, right? But there's a lot of
Hmm.
women who go to. There's a certain kind of woman that goes to that frequents. Do you know how you said there's a certain kind of man who frequents strip clubs? There's a certain kind
There's
of
a certain kind of
woman
woman
that
that
frequents strip
frequents
club
strip
too,
clubs.
and I'm not going to say it because I don't want to get canceled. But but
A
but
lot
I
of times
wonder.
it's a couple looking to spice up their sex life or their intimacy between each other. And like she wants to know, like, do you like the way that this girl rolls her hips? It's more fascinating than anything else to know that your man is wanted by somebody else. That's some people's kink. That's a turn on.
Yeah,
It's like, oh well, I've got something really good. I've got something so good that this
exactly.
girl wants to dance on his lap. Really,
Yeah.
all my friends are just like, we just want the money. We don't care. Please don't try to kiss us. Please keep your tongue in your mouth. Please keep your hands to yourself. We're trying to do a job and let you have a good time, sir, but calm down. They're all like, please calm down. You know, you can't take them home with you. They're attached. That was
But
my
I
favorite
understand.
line that one of my friends told me. You can't take them home with you, sweetie. They're attached.
But I understand like the mindset why men go to strip clubs. And, a certain type of man goes to a strip club. I understand why a certain type of woman. I don't understand why women go to why a certain type of woman goes to see men strip because
Hmm.
that's why I was curious. Like, and now I could identify the type. Trust me, I know the type who's been to seen that more than one time, and it's a certain type. But I always wonder like what are they getting out of it? Are they getting the same thing where they're feeling like a queen, or they're feeling they're wanted, or is it literally watching dicks swing around?
So the only thing that I have that relates to this is because I'm an avid video gamer. I love Dungeons and Dragons, and whenever Baldur's Gate 3 came out, I was elated because I played the first two. Yes, I'm that nerd. I played the first two multiple times. I got the collector's edition for my birthday. My D&D guys are awesome. Love you guys. But whenever that came out, I looked at the cover and I was like, so they took the vampire from Castlevania that everybody wants to bang, and then they took the elf from like pick an anime and Lord of the Rings that everybody wants to bang, and they squished them together. And I was like, "There's no way I'm going to romance this little elf. Like, nope. I'm going to go for Gale. Gale's like this rugged, hot, long-haired Viking-looking guy, and he's a wizard. So it's even better. Mage Hand does wonderful things. Google it. Um, and then I heard his name is Astarion. I heard Astarion's voice, and I was like, "Up, there it is." There it is. I've been listening to this guy on video games for years. His name is Neil Newman, and I absolutely adore him. He is a great voice actor, and he put his heart and soul into this game. And if I had a chance to go and see him in person at a convention, I would pay for it. So a woman looks at the guys on the Facebook page and the advertisements, and they look at this guy and they're just like, I'd pay to see that. I get it. I get it. I would pay to get to meet this guy. And honestly, from my book series, the first three novels that I ever wrote, um, he would be a perfect Vestalt because I have a main character that's a vampire and he looks exactly like Astarion. And I wrote these books way before Larian even announced they were working on Baldur's Gate. So, don't
Nice.
hate me for copyright or plagiarism, but he would make a great Vestalt. It would be perfect.
All right, Camilla. This is a horror channel, so I'm gonna ask you three random horror questions. You ready?
Okay.
All right. So since you're a horror gamer, as I am as well, rank them. I'm gonna give you three. Rank them in order. Number one being the best. Number three being the least. Silent Hill
Okay.
2, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and Resident Evil 4.
Ooh, I was wondering if you were going to put a Resident Evil in there. I grew up on Resident Evil, so I would have to say that that was number one. But I don't want to put either one of those other ones into rank number three because I love Castlevania. I absolutely adore Castlevania, and I can't put it as number three. So I would just have to say that I love all three of them. But I'd probably have to put Castlevania too.
Or two?
Silent Hill was good, but I feel like they could have expanded on the story just a little bit more, like Bloodborne and the Soulsborne series, Dark Souls. You really had to like know the backstory and know the lore of it in order to get the video game in all its entirety. That'd be the only drawback and the only reason I'd put Silent Hill at the end.
Okay. Second. Oh, by the way, mine. I will put Resident Evil 4 is number one, obvious. Silent Hill number
Classic.
two, and then Castlevania Symphony of the Night would be number three. But I love all three of them. I love all three of them. But if I had to rank them, that's where I would put them. That's tough.
I love Alucard.
Alucard's an amazing character. Actually, I love the whole Castlevania, which is an underrated video game series.
It
Simon
really
Belmont's
is.
and the Belmonts. I mean, it's such a. I mean, I grew up. I'm sure my age, with the original Nintendo playing the Castlevania and the Castlevania 2, and then jumping over to the Super NES with Super Castlevania, which is amazing. I mean, Castlevania is an underrated series, video game series.
It really is. And the new TV series that just came out about it, my husband and I watched it together, and I'm over there fangirling and squealing and like,
Yes.
because I know what's going on, and my husband's over there like,
Oh, it's such an amazing series. I
you
mean,
like this stuff? And I'm like, uh huh. Vampires tear their throat out with your teeth.
yes.
It's perfect.
'Cause, I mean, it was the first video game to that had that. It had romance. It had the horror aspect. It had action. It had it was like the first video game that really had a story. People sometimes say, "Well, Travis, how about Final Fantasy or was Zelda? Fuck those games." But
We're talking about horror right now. We're
yeah,
not
we're talking
talking
about
about
horror.
nice, cutesy little
Yes,
things. Like Stardew
yes.
Valley needs to go away for just a second, even though I love it. Animal Crossing, yeah, you can take a back seat for just a minute.
And Fantasy Star, all that can take a seat right now. I'm just talking about
Exactly.
horror. I mean, it just wrapped up. It just gave you everything. It was like the first video game series that made you feel like kind of a little bit like you were watching a movie or in a
And did you
movie.
play Fear? Because I
Yes.
used to work at GameStop, and I worked one of the midnight releases for Fear 3, I believe it was. Fear 3 with
Mhm.
Alma. And that game, that game,
Fear
the
is
jump scares were
terrifying.
perfect. And Dead Space. Dead Space was another one.
Oh,
My husband was like, I couldn't even finish Dead Space. He's like, it creeped me out, and I started having bad dreams, and I took it back. And
Dead Space
I
is
was like,
so fucked
I want
up.
to play it again.
It's so fucked up. That first one came out when I played PS3. Say it
I
came out
think it was either
PS3.
PS2 or PS3, one of the two. And then they had another one that came out. They remastered it for PS4, I think.
Yeah, and that first
I'm a
one scared the
PC gamer, so I have no idea.
no idea. Okay, but that scared the shit out of me. But I'm telling you right now, the game that scared that still makes me unnerved is Resident Evil Biohazard, which is I believe it's part 7.
I
What's the track? I
think
want to
it's
say
part 7.
it's part 7
Don't quote
because
me on it.
it's part 7 because part 6 was the one that people hate that had all the 5 that Albert Wesker's son in it. But I actually enjoyed that one. But that game scared the shit out of me. I mean, it was just nonstop. You're dealing with your wife's crazy fucking family, and they're popping out, and that game just I can't even play the game today.
It's
It scared the
terrifying.
shit out of me.
It
It
was
was.
absolutely terrifying. It's sometimes whenever I play horror games, I have an office that I do all of my work in, and you can see that I have my little Tree of Life poster in the background, my wall canvas to hide my ugly naked walls. But I tell my kids, I'm like, okay, look, you guys are going to go play on your Nintendos and go do have your electronic time. Mom is going to play a game that is extremely terrifying. Don't come in my room. And if you do come in my room, don't look at my screen because there's probably going to be something really, really scary on my screen. But my kids are actually into scary movies now, too, now that they're
Love
getting a
it.
little bit older. So I'm starting them off with tame, scary movies. Like, I think we started out with, I think they've seen Gremlins now, all 3 or 4 installments, because I thought maybe that'd be a little bit humorous. So the little
Mhm.
one wouldn't be scared because we actually do have a dog named Gizmo. We have a little
Oh,
Chihuahua,
nice.
and I looked at him whenever we decided that he'd bonded with my youngest son, and I was like, "Yep, you're gonna be a little fucker, aren't you?" I'm like, "Your name is gonna have to be Gizmo because if we feed you after midnight, this is gonna go really bad."
All right, ready for a
Um,
second? Is it a second or third question? All right. Okay, second
Second.
question. F, marry, kill. So fuck, you got to marry
Okay.
one, you got to kill one. Leon
Okay.
Kennedy, Albert Wesker, and Alucard. And Alucard.
Leon, I would probably marry. Alucard, it looks like a good lay. And I'd have to kill Alex Wester.
And why are you
Because I
killing
mean,
Albert?
just
Okay, he's just an
Albert
asshole.
Wester. I'm sorry. I just his character was very abrasive. I didn't feel like you could get into a relationship with him. With Alucard, it's the same thing. Like he's gonna live forever, so you're like a blip on his radar. So
Yeah,
like he'd be a great lay, but he's not somebody that you want to spend time with because he's not really gonna care.
yeah,
He's immortal. He's gonna live forever. So unless he turns you into his thrall or his slave vampire, because he's never gonna make you an equal. Like, why would
Yeah,
he want to make you competition? So I
exactly.
feel like Leon had a good heart. Whenever he saw somebody that was in trouble, he always tried to help him. He always tried to save him. He'd be that husband that would come home and be like, has a zombie over his back, and he's like, "Hey, honey, I got something new for the dog to play with." You know, throws it out in the
Mhm.
backyard. The German Shepherds and the Belgian Malinois go crazy.
I'm shocked that him and Claire never became a thing.
That was so disappointing. I don't even want to talk about it. That was so disappointing. I don't even want to talk about that because they were destined to be a thing, and it was.
They
I was
were.
thinking it was the slow burn,
Mhm.
because I read a book called Taming Seraphine by Gigi Sticks, and it was a very slow burn, and I fell in love with her characters. I cannot sing this woman's praises enough. But it was like, come on, kiss her, kiss her, kiss her, kiss. Stop! What are you doing? Kiss her! Like,
Yeah.
I know you love her. Kiss her for God's sake. Tell her something. Stop just looking at her lovingly. Just
Never
be
became a thing.
brutal about it. Be honest. They did become a
Yes.
thing. Leroy and Seraphine did actually become a thing, but Claire now that they no.
Yeah.
I was waiting for it. It never happened, and I was mad.
It would have been great. So sad. Who's your favorite horror villain? Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
Let me give you three. Okay. Let's go with Pyramid Head. Okay. Let's go with. hmm, Let's
Now
go
we
with.
talking about enemies that I like to kill, or enemies that whenever they pop up on the screen, I'm like, oh shit.
You're like, yes, I fucking love them. This one is the best.
Okay.
So let's go with Nemesis from Part Three of Resident Evil, and I can't even think of her name. But okay, so let me. Have you ever played Parasite Eve?
I have not.
Okay,
I
so
think that game came out whenever I was at the university. Yes, I
okay.
stay in school, kids. If there's
All
any
right.
kids watching this, stay in school.
Yes, yes. Don't play Parasite Eve. Just stay in school. Play it after you finish college. All right. I'm just gonna
I would say
do.
Alma from Fear would be a
Ooh,
good
okay. I'm up
contender
for it. Fair. All right.
because
Rank
I
them.
love the Fear series.
Mm-hmm.
So we have
Which
Pyramid
is
Head,
underrated.
Nemesis, and Alma. As far as like character wise and backstory wise, I gotta take Alma. Alma's my girl. Like she's the ultimate, walking middle finger because she was treated like crap, and then she gets to get her revenge, and you're like rooting for her the entire time, even though you're trying to stop her and you're trying to kill her. But like I kind of was rooting for her. Whenever she would kill people, I was just like, you deserved it. Nemesis would probably have to be my second one because of his backstory. Because he had like the whole, kind of being forced to become a monster kind of thing. And then whenever he realized that it gave him a lot of power, he just kind of embraced it. And he was like, you know what, screw it, I got this. And Pyramid Head, I hate putting that one at the last, but because Pyramid Head is absolutely terrifying and
Oh,
extremely strong.
when you first see him, it scares the shit out of you.
Yeah, he pops up from nowhere, and the thing is you would expect Pyramid Head to be slow.
And
He's
he's
only slow
not.
when he wants to be. And he
Yes,
wields that big old great sword like it's absolutely nothing. Like he
and it's
is
a death
dealing with a
sentence.
rapier, just whoop, 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 and then you're gone.
You hit that. If he hits you with that fucking sword, it's a death sentence. It's game over. Goodbye.
Hmm.
And I forgot which
Dark Souls
Silent
2 had
Hill.
that a lot.
Yes, and I forgot which Silent Hill was. You walked in a fucking room, and it was like four fucking pyramid heads in there, and I was like, "Is this hell? This is not
Yes, I remember
fair."
that room. I have like flashbacks from that room.
I have
You know,
PTSD from that room.
I do too. It's just like whenever the pursuer shows up in Dark Souls, like we're all. I don't know if y'all have seen Happy Souls. It's a parody video on YouTube, and these two guys are running through. They're like, "This seems like it's a whole lot easier than Dark Souls 1 and Demon Souls." And then the pursuer pops up, and he's like, "Really?" And he kills them in one hit, and he's just like, "Actually, I think the game is pretty fairly balanced." And the guy looks over at him, and he's like, "I'm coming back for you later." And I
Oh,
was like, that's how it feels whenever you get the pursuer after you, because there's no way
oh,
for you to get away from him. He
oh,
pops up at least 4 times and you kill him every time. And right before he dies, he turns into smoke. and you get the souls for it, but he's coming back.
But
He's
you got
coming
to
back.
in a good horror video game, you got to have that fucking unstoppable fucking character. Like
Mm-hmm.
you really do. I mean, because this is based off horror movies. Horror movies, they have that Jason, that Michael Myers. You can't stop these motherfuckers no matter what you do. Gotta have that
Drag Me to
unstoppable
Hell was good.
character. Yes. And these motherfuckers just pop out. You think you killed them, and they keep fucking coming. And those games, like I talk about Resident Evil Part 7. It just made me unease because like you couldn't kill this motherfucker. You were running around the house, creeping, hiding from this family, and it was terrifying. It was nothing like I've ever seen in a Resident Evil game.
I made Sasha pretty unkillable at one point. Um, there is a major plot twist without giving anything away, and Sasha ends up in a latex bodysuit because she thinks she's going to go shoot a movie, and shit goes sideways. And I wanted the reader to be reading this and be like, "There's no way she survived that. There's no, she's fucking dead." And then you turn the page, and you're like, "Wait a minute, what?" There's no way she survived that. But I mean, she's the main character, so uh, do I kill her in the end, or is there going to be a sequel? We don't know yet.
Love it. Well, listen, Camilla, where can everyone find you?
I am on Amazon. I have 3 novels out in a series right now. They're considered high fantasy with a little bit of horror. But Candlelight Lounge will be available July 16th, which is actually my birthday.
Happy
I'm
birthday,
turning
early birthday.
35. So to celebrate my 35th birthday, I'm releasing my 4th book. And I have a book signing in Baton Rouge on the 20th, and we are going to party. It's going to be great.
Awesome, awesome. Well, Camilla, listen. I look forward to have you back on, and I'm telling you what right now. I'm literally I've met like 3 women authors who are like big video game fans, and I feel like I'm gonna have all y'all just come on and talk about fucking horror video games, and that's gonna be a show. I feel like that's
Oh,
gonna
I'd
be a
love
show.
that.
That's
I
gonna
have
be a
a
show.
Discord as well. If you wanted to add my Discord, it's the dash foxtato. My favorite animal
Okay,
is a fox, so everything is around foxes. But you're more than welcome to come hang out. Anybody can join my Discord. It is public. It's called the Fox Den. We all just chill. We usually play really scary games and talk about really scary books, but it is 18 years of age and older. No minors allowed because the subject matter does get quite graphic every now and then, especially with some of the novels and some of the games that we talk about and that we play.
love it, love it. Definitely follow the Discord. I will as well. All right, that was a lot, but that was fun. So we learned about strippers. We learned about horror video games. We learned about a lot. We covered a lot in this interview, but most importantly, we covered the Candlelight Lounge, which will be coming out July 16th. Make sure to grab it on Amazon, Goodreads, wherever you can find your books. All right, everyone. Well, thank you for coming to the Horror Room. I'm Travis Bruce. That's Camilla Huffman. We'll see you next time. Take care.